Hey y'all, this is Tyler with the Story Candle, and today I'm going to give a story update about my engagement. And early in my first video, I talked about being engaged, but I wanted to kind of walk y'all through my story of being engaged, how we met, how we got to this point of being engaged, and all the ins and outs of everything.
Roses bloom, all your leaves grow on the trees. Do you, do you, do you, do you, do you?
So yeah, I'm gonna talk about my engagement story. I know I realize y'all realize I have on a tank top, a blanket. I know it looks kind of confusing. It's like 24 degrees outside here in Dallas, so it's freezing right now. But also didn't want to put on like a bulky sweater or sweat jacket. So I have on a tank top and then I have on the blanket to keep me warm, so I'm balanced. But yeah, gonna talk about my engagement story. And I guess the way I approach this, I'll kind of walk y'all through a timeline of how we met, some key points or interactions within our dating timeline leading up to our engagement. So I'll start. We actually met, me and my fiance, we met in 2024, April of 2024, at this film mixer here in Dallas. So I was on a journey. I thought I wanted to be a filmmaker and director. And so I took a chance on going to this film mixer, which was at the Virgin Hotel, and it was held by the Dallas Film Commission. And I thought it was a good opportunity to network, get to know people, and things of that nature. However, the day of, I'm getting dressed and I was so excited, but I couldn't find a parking space. And sometimes I feel like the universe gives you little indications that either you're supposed to go or you're not supposed to go. And so I couldn't find a parking place. So I told myself, if this is meant to be, or if I'm supposed to be here, I will find a parking space. So I went around one last time and ended up finding a parking space. So I was like, okay, it might be meant for me to go here. Or maybe this is my new journey in this new year. So ended up finding a parking place, went to the Virgin Hotel. They had it decked out. It was really, really nice. It was a bunch of people and it was beautiful weather too. So they had an open area where you can feel the breeze and the sun, as well as well, not the sun, kind of like the breeze of just the day, because it was like the end of the day. And the inside they had just seating areas and places for people to mingle, but they also had a bar for people if they wanted to get drinks, but they also had some good appetizers. So people were bringing around just different hors d'oeuvres and stuff like that. So I'm getting to know people, actresses, actors, everything. And I'm not really, like, I would say I'm an introvert and extrovert. I'm extroverted when I feel like I need to be, but my social battery does go down very quickly. And in that setting, I met a couple people, but I was ready to just like sit down, relax, and just be over with for that night. And so I finally sat down, but he ended up talking to me and just waving and asking me to come over to have a conversation. We ended up having a conversation. We were talking about movies, our top movies, what are we looking forward to movie wise, what he does, what I'm interested in doing. And we ended up talking for like an hour and a half. Mind y'all, my social battery was already done. So he was the last conversation I was having of the night. So we ended up exchanging phone numbers, strictly friendly basis of just me having an interest in film. So from there, we exchanged numbers and went our ways. The next day just went like normal. And then I think 2 days later, he called me. We had a conversation about more about me just learning, getting educated within film, and what I kind of wanted to do, and him offering his insights in what like the best ways to learn or approach it or get into like the field and the industry. So after that, a couple months went by. We would meet for food every once in a while, and we would just talk films for hours. And that happened a multitude of times. And then I believe it was this one time. So we have this. I'm not sure if we have it anymore, but we used to have this bookstore. It was called Black Lit. It's owned by this black woman, and it's basically a bookstore. And they would host like poetry nights and open mics. So I took it upon myself. I wasn't thinking nothing of it. I was just like, hey, I just mentioned it. I'm going to this open mic. Would you like to come? he was like, "Yeah, yeah, I'll meet you and we can enjoy and things like that." So I think that was on a Friday, I believe in July. So it was in July. This Friday we went. I was running late and I almost didn't go, but I ended up making it, ended up going. We saw each other, we hugged and listened to poetry and had a good time. After everything, we ended up actually walking to our cars to the parking area. And when I say we talked for hours, like for a long, long time, I think it was like at least 3 or 4 hours. And mind you, it was like warm, but it was also like super kind of a little chilly. So we were out there for a minute, but it was just a reminder when you meet people that you can have a conversation for that length of time. It is something there, but I think even then we were still like, maybe we could just be good friends. We just have so much in common around film and things like that. And then after that, I don't know what happened. He just really started putting different dates and times on my calendar, like consistently all the time, weeks after weeks and days. Like I was like, I'll have no time for myself no more. Mind you, I was over here trying to attempt to work out, realizing that I'm not really a gym person, but I was going for walks at Katy Trail. But he would just fill my schedule with all kind of cool things. Like we went to Puppies and Pizza one time because all the conversations that we would have, I would always mention things that I enjoy, such as dogs and just being out there in nature. And he would find creative ways um, to plan days. I wouldn't say dates yet because we weren't really like indicating them. But when I look back, they were actually like dates, but indicating different days for us to hang out. And it was always things that like I had mentioned in the beginning that I loved and enjoyed doing and things like that. And so throughout that time, we would do just all kind of fun stuff. We went to putt putt, like I mentioned, we went to Puppies and Pizza. We of course would go to the movies a lot, so that was always fun. There was this one time we went to the movies to see, I think it was Wolverine versus Deadpool, and our movie theater is at the mall, so it's at a very particular mall, and they have a really nice theater. And I came, and I'm coming up the stairs, and he had like some roses for me, but I I didn't know what that was. At first, the indication was that it was supposed to, as I was taking my film journey, to teach me about how to be romantic in my stories. So he brought me roses, and he bought me like a letter. But on the letter, it had a list of it had a list of black films that I need to make sure I'll watch, like, or I'll get my, black card revoked. But we ended up seeing the movie, enjoying it and everything, and just it just would always just be such a fun time, and we would enjoy and just have a good time. And eventually, I was like, so we've been hanging out for a lot for like a lot of time. Like, are we together? Are we dating? Like, what is this? Like, what are our titles? And he never really gave me like a clear answer. He kind of just was like, we're just hanging out. We're just like it was never friends. It was never really like clear, but we just would just spend time together. So with him not really giving me a clear answer, I just let it go. But then for like my birthday, he ended up getting me this really, really nice box. And on the box it had like different words that he used to like describe me. And then it also came with a card. This is the number one reason. This is kind of a little bit off topic, but I've really grown to really appreciate cards at this point in life because his cards are always so special and so nice. But um, on the box, it just was different words that described how he saw me, whether it's like beautiful, kind, things like that. And so I'm like, what? Like, what is going on? Like, what are we, and things like that. But again, I just wouldn't get a clear indication. Then I believe a little bit in October, he asked me to like take a day off work. And I don't really be taking off days from work unless it's like I'm really, really tired or if I'm traveling or things like that. But he asked me in October to take a day off work. Oh, sorry, I'm getting the days mixed up. He asked me but he asked me days I'm getting mixed up. I think in August or something to take off a day in September from work, to just like he never really indicated what it was, what we'd be doing, but I was like, okay, I'll take it. I'll take the day off. And so I ended up taking the day off. He picks me up the night before, and um, he was supposed to pick me up at a particular time, but I think he was running late because I think something with work had ran late. So we ended up getting like some sushi, and then he drives me to, I think the Hilton or one of the hotels, and we go inside, and the hotel is just decked out. It is absolutely gorgeous. It has like balloons, and maybe I'll insert a clip on how it looks. But it was balloons, floral, just all kind of stuff like roses. Everything was just decked out. And basically, at that time, like I said, I had been asking like, "What are we? What are we doing?" And at that time, he finally like confessed, and he gave me this wonderful notebook that kind of indicated all of our days and times together. So if I ever want to look back, I'll never forget all the moments and times that we spent together. But with that, he was like, I don't really want to be friends. I want to be more than friends. And that was the beginning of our story. So yes, like I said, September 26th was the day that he did the hotel. We kind of made it more official about where we were and what we were doing. And me not having to ask so many questions as to what this is or what is going on. So after September 26th, everything just started to fall more in place. We just aligned very, very well. We would continue to do fun things, have fun dates, and just, enjoy life together. October, we spent a lot of time together, and then November happened. November, he took me to meet his family in Michigan, which I had never, anyone that I've dated have never met anyone's family. So, it was really special to, get a chance to meet his family, where he comes from, and just get to know more about his story. And so that was a special time. We spent Thanksgiving there, and it was just really, really good time. And then fast forward to December, I ended up going home for a while, spending time with my mom. And then throughout the um, end of December, I ended up coming back in January for New Year's. And that was the first time, literally on New Year's Day, he told me he loved me. And I was like in awe because I was like, oh my God, this is moving so fast. But it made sense. We like I said, aligned very well. A lot of same beliefs, a lot of same interests, and so we just met. It seemed like at the perfect timing. So throughout the 2025, I'll just speed it forward. um I kept saying like, I'm doing all the right things. I'm providing lunches, I'm meal prepping, I'm doing all the things I feel like a girlfriend slash wife should be doing. And I was like, I'm not going to be a girlfriend forever. And then, your family and stuff starts to get in your ear that, you don't want to be a girlfriend forever and things like that. But it's really just focusing on what you believe in, not what your family or friends or things like that. But um ended up the next September, after, so the year after we had the hotel, he was like, we're gonna have a photo shoot. He had told me like in advance when we go to the gym, I want to set up a nice little photo shoot, make sure you dress nice and things like that. I'm like, okay, I never really do photo shoots, but I'm excited. And so that Friday, September 26th, we ended up getting dressed up to go for the photo shoot. He picks me up. We're driving, and we pull up to the place. He like leaves me in the car, and then he comes and gets me. And as I'm walking down, sorry, excuse me, as I'm walking down, his niece, she's like outside. I'm like, what is she doing here? Like, I'm confused. And so she walks me up the stairs of this beautiful building, and I get up there, and it's filled with beautiful floral candles. And he's standing at the end of the aisle, and there's a DJ, and his family's there, my mom's there, one of my best friends is there. And so it felt so, so special. I think in his mind, I was supposed to walk down the aisle slowly. I ended up walking so fast because I was so nervous, but I ended up walking, and I'll actually insert the link to our engagement video so you all can see it. I'll insert that link in the description, which actually shows his planning process and leading up to the actual engagement. But I walked down the aisle. He asked me, he said some kind words, will you marry me? And, to see him really get emotional like that and nervous, it makes me feel like it was just the perfect timing, perfect alignment for us. And to just, for him to make the effort to, bring my mom there. My mom is such a special and very important person in my life. So for him to make time to, get her there, get his family there, and get my mom's blessing and things like that. It felt really, really special. So after that, we ended up just taking pictures, eating dinner, and things like that. The ring at the time was way too big for me. I think it was a 7.5 and I wear a 4.25, so it was a big difference. So we had to get the ring resized and everything. But we just ended up having a good time, taking lots and lots of photos, which if you follow me on Instagram, you can see some of the photos. And we just had a good time. And then to top it off, after the special engagement, we ended up going to a trip to San Diego. So it was just a bunch of special moments and reasons to celebrate. So, um, this today I just really wanted to share my engagement story. It feels special to be able to have this happen in my life. As a kid, I used to just dream of a beautiful proposal or finding someone that cares enough for me to do something like that, and for it to become true, and be patient enough to wait for someone that is willing to put in that work and do that for me. It felt very, very special and nice. And so I just wanted to share that special story with y'all. I know I didn't have any candles this time, but um, I thought this was just a special enough story to share without a particular candle. But I do have my story candles that'll be selling very soon. So please keep a lookout for that. And then my question is, whether you're engaged or not engaged, what's your hope for your engagement story, or what do you envision it looking like? And um, what do you want? What would you like your partner to do for you, or something special along with your engagement, or what you dreamed of as a kid? So make sure you share that in the comments, and I will see y'all soon. Thanks, y'all. Bye.